What's up, guys? Hope everyone's having a blessed day today. We're going to be reacting to a video by Coach Corey Wayne, who's a dating coach. He's been online for many years now. But this video is titled, "Following RP Nonsense Got Me Dumped. Can I speak today?" Anyways, we're going to be checking out what he has to say, and I'm going to listen to it, add some commentary, and then I want to hear from you guys what you guys think about this, because I can poke holes all day long in his logic. So let's check it out.
Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be Red Pill Nonsense Got Me Dumped.
First off, it's a little bit zesty, just his voice, his body language off rip, but we're just going to keep watching.
Well, I got two different emails I'm going to go through with you today. The first one is from a guy who, I guess a little over a year ago or so, he got into the red pill, started following it. He had some success with some of the things that he applied, but about 6 months in just recently, his girlfriend dumped him and told him what a bad person he was, what a jerk he was. And it just, because you probably have heard, all of us have had friends at one point, like I know I did, and I wrote about this when I was in 3% Man, that their pickup advice or their relationship advice was like, just be a dick to her. And you could be that way for a while, but you also have to be nice. You can be a jerk. You can call her out on her BS and put her in her place lovingly, but without being a jerk constantly. But if that's just all you got, just like the pickup artists only have a few routines, and once they run out of that, the girl's like, that's it. That's all you got? There's nothing more going on in your life than this? And it just totally comes apart. So if you're looking to date and actually have a healthy relationship that's easygoing, easy to get along with, you communicate well, you're going to have to learn the skills to actually have a good, healthy relationship. And so this guy just got dumped recently, and he recognizes, obviously he just found my work, I think a week or so ago. So he's been through the book, or he's about 3/4 of the way through it, and he realized all the things that he's done wrong, and he wants to turn it around, which is, I'd say probably 80% of the guys come to me, they're in this particular situation. This guy got involved in the red pill stuff, but most guys just act and display too many beta male behaviors. And then the second email is a success story. And what's interesting is this success story is from a guy who followed me for years. And he was just cherry picking from videos. He never read the book. And he kept getting dumped for the same reasons. And the reality is you got to clean up your behavior. Because if you don't clean up your behavior, then you're going to get dumped for exactly the same reasons. And that's what the second guy realized. And so he finally decided, after he got dumped the last time, they're like, this is it. I've got to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And he got serious, read the book 12 times, and his life got infinitely better, and he's been in a really good relationship for the last year. So you get a good contrast from somebody that has immersed themselves in the red pill, what their experience was, and then ultimately where it led. And I've heard this so many times now, and when you go through the books that are the obviously Rollo Tomassi stuff, it's like there's no how-to stuff in there. And what I see...
That's one branch, one sect of the red pill space. That's not the entire thing. There's levels to this RP awareness and the RP teachings. There's MGTOW, there's red pill, and then there's pretty much everyone talks about self-improving in some sort of way. But they all agree for the most part, do not get married, and if you choose to get married, vet very hard, understand the type of girl you're dealing with, her background, her history, put her through tests, and if you choose to get married, that you have a prenup.
Over and over and over again in the comments and phone sessions, the emails I get, is it just turns guys into being bitter and jerks and blaming women for everything. And when they do that, they don't take any accountability for how they're showing up. It's always the woman's fault. And that's what this...
Well, because a lot of men also are indoctrinated by Western culture and dealing with the modern American woman, it's very hard to want to improve and want to better yourself and even give these women a chance when they're all masculine as Okay, this is why we have men going overseas and going to different countries, passport bros, actually leaving in order to find a good woman. So let's take some accountability on both sides here.
First emailer came to realize, because it was always her fault. And then now, after he's read through my book and listened to the feedback he's got from his now ex-girlfriend, he's recognized that most of it was him. So, as the late great Don Shula used to say, strong men blame themselves, weak men blame others. And that's part of the problem with the red pill community, is there's too many people in there that don't know what the hell they're doing. Bunch of dunce warriors, as Quintus Curtis would call them, don't know what they're doing. It's like the blind leading the blind.
I agree. There's a lot of nerds and squares in this space that have no experience dealing with women, and they have large platforms now. We even have women that have never walked through the experience of what it's like to being a man at giving dating advice and men's advice to men. It's crazy. It's insane.
Makes it easy for guys that don't want to take personal responsibility for their own lives, their own mistakes, just to say, hey, it's not my fault. The girl's messed up. But when it's just continually happening over and over and over and over again, you start to recognize that, well, it's if the same relationship happens over and over, in other words, if you keep attracting the same kind of person over and over, and the same exact thing happens over and over again, then you have to admit to yourself eventually that, you know what, maybe some of this is me. As Confucius said, real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. So, with that said, before all the red pill guys start crying in the comments and telling me I don't know what I'm talking about and I don't understand the red pill, I was like, bitch, please. So let's go through the first email. He says, hey, Corey, thank you for sharing your experience with all of us. I just discovered your content last Thursday on YouTube, and at first I was skeptical, thinking it was more red pill stuff. Yeah, a lot of people in the red pill community try to classify me as red pill or part of the manosphere, and it's like, I have nothing to do with that. I did an interview with President Dream Johnson, who was a total gentleman, and I really enjoyed hanging out with him, getting to know him, and sharing ideas. He seems like a good dude and wants the best. And what I do like about him is that he calls out a lot of these bozos that don't know what the hell they're doing. So he says, I subscribed to the red pill a little over a year ago, and after being in a 3-month relationship with a TLP girl, I don't know what that is, I looked up the acronym and I was like, I'm not sure if that is. I'm sure somebody in the comments will correct me on what that means. People throw these lingos at me all the time and acronyms, assuming I've read this book or that book or know who this YouTuber is or who that person is. So I started being less attentive with women, which really worked. Well, the quickest way to get somebody else's attention is to remove yours. And indifference makes a difference, but you can't ignore them permanently. Ignoring a woman every time something doesn't go well is not the one-size-fits-all solution. It just doesn't work that way. He says, my game was on top. The problem was I started a new relationship with a girl in July of 2022. It was her idea, and she loved me, he says, after 3 weeks of dating, and asked where we were standing after 2 months. And she ended it this Saturday. As I was following every aspect of the red pill, growing my business, going to the gym, letting her do the texting and calling. And the other thing I want to say is a lot of these guys in the red pill community have learned my stuff, and so they do a lot of the self-development stuff, but the communication and how to understand women, it's like they dismiss that because they expect women just to show up and be perfect, and if they can't be the perfect girlfriend, then, well, she belongs to the streets. It's their solution to everything.
Well, if this guy was actually taking this woman that he's been seeing for 3 months serious, and he actually wanted something long-term with her, clearly he did because he's emailing this guy about it, you know, why would he treat her as a plate? We talk about the difference between treating a woman as a side piece, as a plate, something short-term, versus, oh, actually, this woman's a good woman with good qualities that I wouldn't mind bringing into my kingdom and contributing. So it's just like, you have to understand as a man what you're going to do when you get involved with women. You have to have a game plan before you get involved with them, when you're meeting them for the first time, and then after. All the steps in between. She needs to be proving that she is a woman worthy of you and your time. It doesn't sound like he knew that.
Going to the gym, letting her do the texting and calling, cooking for me, washing for me. He says, I can be with any girl I want, but you can't because you're a woman. That's
You don't say stupid shit like that. You, as a man, you don't say some stupid shit like that, okay? That's just so stupid to say something like that, especially to a girl. You can think that in your head. Why would you say that out loud? Unless you're expecting. No girl's going to tolerate that for more than a couple months, straight up. You can't be a dick 24/7 to these women and think that they're going to stick around. There's levels to being a dick. You're a dick a little bit here, and assertive is what it really is. It's not being a dick the whole time. But then you also know when to not be a dick. But it's really just setting a boundary with people. You don't get too much of my time, too much of my emotions, and I'm going to set that boundary with you so you know that you can't emotionally bulldoze over me. That's all it is. That's not being a dick. That's just setting boundaries. But a lot of guys in the space don't know how to communicate that to other men that are watching the content. So men take it to the extreme and are complete dickheads 24/7 to these women. And this is why, and then they're frustrated when the woman walks away and they don't get the results they want. It's like,
that cracks me up because kind of like the attitude, like it's like it turns a lot of dudes into narcissists. Like, I'm the awesome man, the rest you peasant women bow to my feet. He says, I subscribe to all of this because it works in the beginning. Yeah, well, girls with self-esteem issues.
yeah.
And because I can, according to the red pill. I'm 6'6", I own my own home, I got cars and businesses, I work out, etc. So according to his...
Doesn't matter, your mindset's fucked up. You have a terrible attitude with relationships and women, so it doesn't matter.
What he's learned from the red pill, he's the top dog. Top G, if you will. There's only one top G, of course. He says, I don't know I was fucking up my relationship because I'm not used to having one just pick up. He says, so I came to your content while deciding if I should dump this girl to whom I was pissed at the time and ignoring. He says, I ignore her every time they make something I don't like, just as I learned from the red pill. It's like, you're not going to have a healthy relationship. She did something I don't like, okay, I'm going to ignore her. That makes sense.
That's feminine. You confront the issue. You tell her exactly what she did wrong. You correct in love. You let her know what should have been done instead of the way that she did it. And then from there, she needs to learn. And if she's not learning what you like and applying the principles of what you just said that you liked in the future, then you leave her. Then you dump her. That's when you leave her. That's when you do it.
A lot of sense. You can't solve problems unless you can talk openly and honestly about them. And what that reminds me of is women who, when there's an issue and you confront her about it, she's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's feminine as fuck.
When you hear I don't want to talk about it,
I don't want to talk about it. Don't talk to me. Shit, feminine as fuck.
Trying to be passive aggressive and stonewall you and not talk about it. So just ignoring her, that doesn't solve anything. He says, she broke up with me Saturday telling me that I'm an asshole, misogynist, a narcissist, and I don't care about her or our relationship. That's the important thing, is women have to feel like you actually care for them. He says she put up with all of this because of the great sex, but she had enough. He says, I can tell by her actions in the last text that she's really pissed, she's sad and anxious, but she most likely misses me a lot. She blocked me on Instagram and Facebook, but not WhatsApp. I texted her Monday, so he should be looking at 7 Principles Again Next Back and obviously getting through the book. So if you're new to my work and you're trying to turn something around immediately like this guy is, the smartest thing you can do is get a physical copy.
Instead of reading that book, all it comes down to, guys, is you loving yourself enough to set boundaries with other people around you and not letting succubus, people that take your energy from you, into your inner circle, including men and women. That's just point blank period what it is. That just saved you reading that entire book and watching countless videos right there. You don't allow toxic people, succubus, into your life. And you identify who is a succubus right now and you kill contact with them.
There is no shortcuts to success. Again, I reiterate what Don Shula said. Strong men blame themselves. Weak men blame others. If you're one of those guys that doesn't want to take personal responsibility for your own life and everything that's in it, including the good and the bad, my channel is the wrong place for you. There's 51 million other channels that you can follow. Men take accountability for their own actions and their own mistakes. Everything's in our lives because we either attracted it or we allowed it in our life. And pointing the finger and saying, oh, it's all women are like this or that, it's all her fault.
No one's saying all women are like that, though. Maybe some content creators are, but we're saying most women in the West are like that, which is true. And all women have certain characteristics and things about their nature that apply to all women across the spectrum. Whether she chooses to act upon that nature or not act upon that nature is up to the individual woman you're dealing with and her situation growing up.
You can't fix anything with that kind of an attitude. He says, I texted her on Monday before I finished the first read of your book, apologizing and telling her that if she wanted to talk, I'm open to it. And after she gave me a long list of the stuff she didn't like, she told me maybe this weekend. But since I hadn't read your book yet, I didn't set a specific time and place. Facepalm, he says. He says, I know I messed up. I thought I was doing everything right, and I hope I can fix this, and I wanted to share this to serve as an example to your followers how a man should behave and properly take care of his woman. This is the beginning of a change, and I'm really grateful to you. Just finished reading your book for the first time. Also, sorry for the terrible English. It's not my first language. So the key is you should be making a date to have dinner together. And when she comes over, get her to talk. You should be watching the video, How to Communicate with Women Effectively. And so that particular video and learning to understand and talk to women, the guys in the Red Pill community dismiss that and say, you're catering to women, Corey, you're catering. It's like, you got to communicate.
Not all Red Pill channels are doing that.
Communicate. You can't be an asshole to your mother or your sisters and expect them to still like you, or an asshole to all the women that you work with. It's just, that doesn't work. And
well, obviously.
Listening to a bunch of idiotic narcissists that don't know their asshole from a hole in the ground, quite frankly, is not going to get you anywhere. But I digress. So let's go through an email success story. A guy who was screwing up a lot and cherry picking and doing the opposite of what I said. And it took him several years.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop right there. This guy said a lot of good things that I agreed with, but he also grouped a ton of RP content creators into one way of thinking, which, you know, if you've never heard of this space before, it's a self-improvement space where men confide in each other and network with each other in order to better ourselves and learn from each other's experiences. So I don't like people that try to divide that up. And he's grouping us all together because he's a dating coach in order to do that. And I just disagree with this. I 100% disagree with him doing that. Men need a space like this where we can talk freely and openly. And this guy that emailed him, he took things to the extreme, all right? No good woman is going to stick around for 2 to 3 months of you treating her like absolute dog shit. She's not going to. Good women get taken off the market very quickly. This is why we see so many men going overseas, once again, to find a good feminine woman. Because there's not many left here. The ones that are left here get swooped up very early in life. Like 18, 17 sometimes. Right out of high school. They're already off the market, married, popping out kids for this guy. So you have to understand, if you have a good woman in your life that's cooking, cleaning, not hoeing around, not being an attention whore, not all on social media, monotonous, doesn't like to go out, doesn't require much energy and emotional stress, you have to reward her, all right? You have to give her something back a little bit if you want to maintain that relationship and keep her, which it sounds like this guy did. So guys, I hope you took away some valuable information in this video. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel and want to receive updates. See you guys next time. Have a blessed rest of your day. Let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments.